10 years. It's been 10 years since I made this channel way back on the 13th of August 2006. Yeah, the early days when YouTube was not the big powerhouse of entertainment it is today. It was just a site that some people used, and I tell you, the YouTube landscape has changed a lot. But this video isn't really about how YouTube itself has changed, it's more about how I have changed as a content creator. And yeah, it may seem a bit congratulatory, but really look at most of the big YouTubers you see. Most of them haven't been around for 10 years, which I guess goes to show that their content is better than mine, because I've got nowhere near as many subscribers and viewers, despite being around longer. Life's unfair, innit? So as I said, it started on the 13th of August 2006. If I recall correctly, I made the channel mainly because of my MK Story videos. Basically, I've been making these little videos just messing about with Windows Movie Maker, which I just randomly found on my computer one day. So I messed about a bit. I found voice clips from Movie Wavs, I think it was. God, that's going back. And basically just made a bunch of pictures to go with it and made a series out of that. And so I wanted a place to share this stuff. I found this site called YouTube and just started uploading them. The name, obviously it's a Metal Gear reference, but I'm not sure if I've ever actually explained why I used that name. It started, I think, the same year when I joined a website called Metal Gear Solid The Unofficial Site, or MGSTUS. And so I wanted a Metal Gear themed name for that website, the forums and that. The fourth Snake just made sense because you got Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, Solid Snake. So what if there was a fourth Snake? And that's where that came from. I was actually kind of surprised that no one else had done that. My intention originally was to have different names on different sites. To those, like I joined a Sonic forum at one point and had a name themed around Sonic. But when it came to YouTube, there wasn't really anything I could use to theme myself around, so I just used the 4th Snake handle because that was the one I frequented the most, so that's where that comes from. My first upload was on the 15th, it was the first episode of MK Shorts. I might have made that specifically for YouTube before I started putting up MK Story on the 18th. Unfortunately, by the end of the month, my computer had gone to shit because of a virus and I'd lost all the videos. It took me a while before I eventually got back into it, thanks to some nice comments from some people, because this was back in the day when YouTube comments were generally positive, not just people complaining about stuff. It was generally more positive back then, so some people said I should try again, so I decided, okay, I'll do that. But I'd lost all the assets, so I'd have to start again, so I felt like it made more sense to kind of just start over and redo the episodes. I never did get around to redoing all the episodes, I don't think, because it was supposed to go into a kind of third season focused on Scorpion, and I recall I did actually make one episode originally, in which Scorpion kills Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. This was before I really despised Quan Chi, but Shang Tsung takes down Shao Kahn with one hit, and then the main theme from Malcolm in the Middle plays, "You're not the boss of me now," and Scorpion just impales him from behind and it's "Life is unfair." And that was, maybe it was for the best that I didn't actually end up remaking that episode. Yeah, but that was supposed to be a whole 30 episode series that I just stopped after a while because I just found other stuff to do, like better videos. But my content was just stuff like that until I did the first one using actual footage from something. This was on the 18th of November 2006, which was my Soul Calibur 2 Guest Fighters video. Back then, YouTube mostly was used for amateur music videos for anime and games. So I found some footage. It was the weapon exhibitions and intros for Soul Calibur 2. I downloaded them, edited them together, then I needed some music to go with it. So I just picked a short music track from Metal Gear Acid, put that over it, and some parts it just happens to sync up really well. But that's what kind of got me started. I think I really started to up my content output on the 4th of December of that year because there were two particular videos I put up. The first was the Metal Gear Solid 3 Portable Ops video, where I took the audio from the Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops trailer and played clips from Metal Gear Solid 3 for the cutscene parts, because that's when I found out that the cutscenes in that game were going to be drawn rather than actually fully animated. So I was thinking, well, what could it look like if it was animated? So I used clips from MGS3 because Portable Ops is a continuation of that, and then I started doing other Metal Gear games, non-Metal Gear games like MK vs DCU, Sonic the Hedgehog, stuff like that. And the other was a music video for Metal Gear Solid 3's The Fury using Burn Burn by Lost Prophets, because this was back when Lost Prophets had some dignity because no one knew that the lead singer was a fucking paedophile. Like, seriously, pedos just ruin everything. Like, they can all just fuck off and die. I mean, we can all agree on that, right? Like, that's not going to be viewed as a controversial statement, right? But after that, I really started to take music videos more seriously, and they became a big part of my output. That and the dub type videos, where I kind of expanded out to doing other stuff, like clips from Bleach with audio from Devil May Cry, you know, stuff like that. That became the majority of my content for a while. And as I said, I did start redoing MK's story. That was on the 11th of January 2007. But aside from that, the majority of my content was the dubs and music videos, and nothing really significant changed through 2007 and 2008. On the 16th of June 2009, I started uploading this Alien vs Predator 2 movie, where I edited the cutscenes together from AVP 2 and its expansion pack to make a kind of movie. But this was back at the time when YouTube videos couldn't be over 10 minutes long. Well, they said it couldn't be, but I'm pretty sure you could go up to just under 11 minutes. I guess it was just to allow some error of margin where you could go over just a bit. So I loaded it in 6 parts. There were some bits that were kind of out of order, as some people pointed out, and I did intend to do a lot more with that. Like, I wanted to do one with Devil May Cry or Metal Gear Solid, and I did actually edit the Devil May Cry one. I just never finished it because, if I recall correctly, back then YouTube wouldn't allow videos over 100 megabytes in size, and each episode ended up about 20 minutes, and that was kind of the ideal length for each one, because then it was divided up into each of the 3 acts. And I did try it again after the HD collection came out, but I think that came down to rendering time. That one may be lost to time forever then. I think I still have the intro I was going to use for the episode versions up on the channel, but it just never went anywhere. I have done similar stuff since. I did one for Sengoku Basara 3 focused on Nobunaga's resurrection. I want to do one about the Battle of Sekigahara from Samurai Warriors 4, or the Battle of Churabi from Dynasty Warriors. The problem is there are certain holes in those, certain bits that need to be included where I can't get the clips, so I've never really gone that far with those, but I feel like I could do something like that. I just need the right game where there aren't really any holes in the story. You need every single piece of relevant information to be there. Later that month, on the 29th, I started uploading the Elid Chronicles. The Elid Chronicles started out as just these little audio things I made. It started when a bunch of us in my 6th form, we'd gone to McDonald's for one lad's birthday. When we were on our way back, a bunch of people in the group were, you know, making signs at passing cars, waving at them to try and get them to honk their horns and stuff like that. And a lot of people did that, and it was really nice. And there's this one guy, this one dude, who thought he was so cool. Like, this guy, he looked like such a dick. He had sunglasses on and everything, and he saw us, and he put his finger up, and this look on his face, he looked so fucking pleased with himself. I just had to do something with it. So at the time, I'd been watching Army and the Chief, which is a live-action / machinima series about 2 toys of Arbiter and Master Chief from Halo, and they're voiced using Microsoft Sound and Microsoft Mic. So I decided to use that to basically make a short audio file that's about a minute long that basically tells that story in a comedic fashion, and I brought it in from friends to listen to. They liked it, so I did more based on other real events, or supposedly real events, because some of the stuff I wasn't there for, and then just complete bullshit, and some that were a combination of the two. I'll leave it up to you to figure out what is real and what is not. But after I'd done about 14 of those, I actually started to do the video versions. There were some changes, like I didn't use full names for anyone other than Chris Byrne, because Chris Byrne is the man. So I did re-record the audio to cut out real names of people and use nicknames or just one name from each one. And that became a big priority for me for a while. Like, I think over the next couple of years, that was one of the main things I was doing. But on the 6th of July 2009, I did a short video called That Is What You Lack. It's basically splicing together video and audio to make a kind of skit. I'd done others like it years before, but this is where I started to do them a bit more often. It's never been a main focus for me, but I do those from time to time. The only really significant thing for 2010 was on the 19th of July when I started my DeviantArt account. It was mainly just a place to post my schoolwork when I was doing my photography and media studies courses. It was mainly just for those, but that stuff did end up becoming a bit more of a priority at certain points, and it is pretty significant for where I'm taking the YouTube channel, so you'll have to bear with me on that one. Somewhere around mid-July of 2011, I got Gmod. It was the first game I ever bought on Steam. Not to make videos with it. I've done a few with like pictures and that, but it was mainly just to make pictures. And that was when I started to use my DeviantArt account a little more regularly, and it became more significant as a place to post content, both pictures and written work as well. But back to the YouTube channel. On the 8th of October 2011, my 20th birthday, I basically recorded, edited and uploaded, over the course of about 12 hours, the top 10 video game movies video. See, by this point the YouTube landscape was starting to become more dominated by reviewers like the Angry Video Game Nerd, the Nostalgia Critic and stuff like that. So that was something I wanted to explore, though I wouldn't actually get around to it for a while, because I did this video and it was kind of shit. It wasn't necessarily the content, it was the fact that I'd basically rushed the whole thing, so there were certain things I'd missed in the editing. Like, I recorded the audio as video, so there's some parts where it was actually just video playing without the audio, which was just a close-up of my face, and it was a complete mess. I did keep it up for a while on the channel, but eventually got rid of it because even just to look back and take the piss out of, it's just not good content, so I got rid of that. And it was the first of my videos where I used a camera to film myself, and that is also pretty important because the day after I used that camera to film a vlog, where I basically explained what the deal with the video was, why it turned out so shit, and then I started to do a lot more vlog content over the next couple of years. Like, that was probably the priority for me at that point. I still did the reviews, of course, using the camera, but most of my output was vlogs, and they weren't very good because back then it was recorded on the internal microphone in the camera, which was pretty weak from the front. For some reason it picks up audio way better from the back than the front, which I never understood why. So I'd have to get really close to the camera in order for it to be any good, and I didn't have any special light, so I had to use natural lighting. So most times just me sat by the window just talking to the camera. And I fully acknowledge that back then it kind of became more about the amount of content rather than the quality of content. And I look back on that and I do fully acknowledge that that's not the way I want to go. I want to have good quality content, not just a lot of it, you know? But I used a vlog format for current reviews where I'd watch a movie or play a game and just give my thoughts on them. They weren't really that great. I think the main inspiration for that was Spoonie, because the Spoonie one did a lot of vlog stuff back then. So I was kind of drawing inspiration from that, and it wasn't really a good idea. And then over 6 months later, on the 30th of April 2012, I finally redid the list video, but by then I'd seen Prince of Persia, so it was the top 11 video game movies. This one was actually edited with care, because this time I wasn't trying to rush it out to get it done by my birthday. It was just do it properly, get it done, and that's definitely a better work ethic. Deadlines can be helpful because it can really get your ass in gear, but it can also be detrimental because it can make you rush things rather than taking your time. And I think that really shows with the two versions, though no one will ever see the old version because the old version is shite. I followed that up about a month later on the 29th of May with the first episode of Adaptation Assessment on Sonic the movie. My intention was to have a bunch of different series for different topics, one for adaptations, one for crossovers, one for the stuff that pissed me off, that was rage reviews, and all of them were going to have names like that. It was going to be alliterative names consisting of 2 words: Adaptation Assessment, Crossover Crisis, Rage Reviews, List Lovers. It was kind of limiting, I admit. Again, I fully acknowledge that a lot of my old content wasn't that great, and that's why I have gotten rid of quite a bit of it, mainly the vlogs. But I'd say from my old stuff from back in the SD days, one of the most significant things I've made in general was from the 16th of August to the 17th of December 2012, I uploaded my 10-part Mortal Kombat 2011 review. That review was about 2 hours long. I was kind of trying to touch on everything in the game, not miss anything out, which was a problem. But it's one of the things I was most proud of. Not as much now, mainly because I've got a better version of it, but it took a good long while to get that done. In fact, my original intention, funnily enough, was to basically go through it without shaving, because every time I did a proper review, I would always have a shave beforehand to look presentable. But for this, I kind of wanted to show that I don't give a shit because of what the game is. So the intention was to not shave or have a haircut, basically record the footage just before I would actually do the editing for that part. The problem was I started it in August, and it was hot. So I basically just recorded all the footage for parts 3 or so onwards, all in one go, and then it was like, alright, done, quick shave and haircut. It was a relief. I think one of the big turning points for the channel was on the 25th of January 2013, because that was when I got my Elgato to capture footage in HD. I'd had a capture device in the past. I don't really know what happened to it. I think it just stopped working when I switched over to a different PC. So I had the Elgato to capture console game footage, but I didn't make proper use of it at first. My first edited video in HD was when I did a quick Iron Man 3 review on the 5th of May 2013. For that I was just using footage from the trailers and that, but that was a big step, because until then I'd only really been using Windows Movie Maker, so obviously all the videos were just in SD. I think it's because I upgraded to a new PC or laptop that didn't have the old version of Windows Movie Maker. It had Windows Live Movie Maker, which I was never able to figure out, so I decided, fuck it, just buy some actual editing software, which was Sony Movie Studio Platinum, and I've been using that ever since. That's a good one. So my videos are all in HD now, and that's definitely a step up, because by then pretty much everyone was doing HD video, but I hadn't been. So I decided, okay, I'm going to really invest some money, not just in cameras and microphones, but in editing software as well, so I can get it all in HD. And I really put that to use starting on the 1st of June 2013, because I started doing a few tests for Let's Plays, because by now, Let's Plays were becoming one of the dominant forces on YouTube. So I did a test with the demo of Injustice, and then I did a few other tests on the main channel before a full Let's Play channel on Christmas Day 2013. The big problem was that the footage was problematic. For some reason there was this weird flaw with the Elgato. I even got a replacement, but that didn't fix anything. Basically there's always these bits where it would kind of freeze for a few seconds and just not record the next few frames, and so I had to spend a lot more time editing the videos than I really should have had to. I couldn't deal with it, so I got a new capture device, the AverMedia Live Gamer Portable, which is way better in my opinion, because that one hasn't really had any problems. So I started using that from the start of my Sonic Adventure Let's Play, and Let's Plays were kind of the main thing I was doing for the next year and a half. I did the odd review here and there, and still did some vlogs and stuff, but Let's Plays were the main thing I was doing. But that doesn't mean I wasn't doing any real content. I'm not saying that Let's Plays aren't real content, it's just my Let's Plays weren't. I fully acknowledge that my Let's Plays were never that great, and that was why I ultimately stopped doing them, because no one really seemed to care, so it just made sense to stop and focus on real content. On the 19th of June 2014, I put up a short video questioning whether Ubisoft are anti-English, mainly because of some of the stuff in Assassin's Creed 3 and 4. It wasn't really meant to be taken that seriously, just an amusing thing I'd noticed from the fact that, for whatever reason, all the French people in Assassin's Creed Unity have English accents, when that was never the case before. But that kind of opened up to do videos on just things I've noticed and have an opinion on, general thoughts, you know? The 6th of August was a major turning point. It was a pretty important event that changed the way I'm going to be taking the content forward on the channel from now. On the 6th of August 2014, I uploaded my video of Did You Know Gaming Dynasty Warriors. The reason I made that video is because I knew that Dynasty Warriors was never going to get an episode of Did You Know Gaming. I mean, they've never even done Devil May Cry, so what chance does Dynasty Warriors have? And I had a lot of random trivia and interesting facts lying around, so I figured I'll just make a fan-made video. A couple of friends and my brother suggested that I send it to Shane, the creator of Did You Know Gaming. I thought, yeah, why not? You know, he might get a chuckle out of it. He might find it somewhat amusing. I mean, what's the worst that could really happen? So I sent him an email with the video, and he gave it a like, which led to it being mentioned on his Twitter, and then I got a load of views, and that was the most views I'd received on any video in years. I mean, I have some videos that still dwarf it in terms of views, but those ones are years and years old. This one got a few thousand in just a few days, so that was really cool, and it inspired me to do another one on Sengoku Basara not too long later. But then I had another idea, because I recalled one person in particular mentioning, until at the end when I actually acknowledged that this was just fan-made, they had forgotten it was a fan-made video. And I thought, wow, that's really good. I think I've done a really good job at imitating the style. So then I decided to do something else, because by mid-2015 I was a big fan of game theory, and this was when Five Nights at Freddy's was at the height of its popularity. And so there was just loads of Five Nights at Freddy's theories and timeline discussions on that channel, as well as one about the Mario timeline. And a topic that had interested me for a while was, how old is Dante from Devil May Cry in any given installment? So I spent a few months researching it, and I discussed it with people on a forum, and no one really had any problems with the end results. So I made this video in the style of game theory and uploaded it on the 31st of July 2015. The response to it was actually really positive, aside from some people who were like, oh my god, you're stealing from game theory. It's like, guys, it's a tribute. That's pretty clear actually. But some people are dumb, some people get it, and the people who get it, who aren't complete idiots, they liked it. And if you've been keeping up with my newer content, then you'll know that that is a pretty important detail for going forward. But not too long before that, on the 10th of June, I'd uploaded my Halo 4 critique. Now, rather than labelling it as rage review, it was critique, because I wanted to indicate that I was kind of moving away from the old style, which I admit was kind of formulaic. I wanted to kind of move away from that and do more really in-depth analysis on why I hate certain aspects of certain things or why I really like them. So that's kind of the way I've approached reviews and lists more recently. So going back to DeviantArt, see, I told you it would come into play later. On Halloween 2015, there really isn't any particular reason for it to be on Halloween, I uploaded my Dead or Alive Ninja Gaiden timeline, which was followed shortly thereafter by the Devil May Cry one, but more cleaned up. Because doing that research for Devil May Cry, I'd gotten really obsessed with timelines. And again, if you've seen the more recent content I put out, you'll see how that's significant. So after that, I put out a bunch more timelines on DeviantArt, and I really started to come up with this idea for a show focused on timelines and basically showing how I worked it all out, similar to the Devil May Cry one, only without the game theory trappings. So that one really can be viewed as kind of a prototype for what the final series ended up being. But there was still one more thing I really wanted to get out of the way first. While I started work on the script for the pilot episode of the new series, not too long after I started, I realised, oh wait, the 5th anniversary of Mortal Kombat 2011 is coming up. And I had already decided years earlier that I wanted to redo that review, because I felt like 2 hours was just too much. I wanted to condense it down, focus on the important points, bring up some new things I've thought of since then, and just make an all around better video, especially because this time it would be in HD. So I started recording the footage on the 2nd of February for use as a Let's Play, so I could get some additional content out, and I started posting the Let's Play on the 21st of February. And then 2 months after that, on the 21st of April, I started uploading the 11 parts of the MK2011 review Redux. And even though I tried to condense it down, I cut a lot of the stuff out that wasn't important, because there was that much new stuff I'd thought of, and I was better at conveying certain points, it ended up being about 2 hours anyway. It was 5 minutes shorter though, so there's that, I guess. But with that review kind of marking the end of that phase of my life, I was finally able to get back to working on the pilot episode for the new series A Line Through Time, which went live on the 19th of June. Since then, I've done an episode on Street Fighter and a mini episode focusing on sliding timescales. I have already written the script for the next episode, which is going to be something a little different from the previous two, so I hope you've given the series a try and enjoyed it so far, and will continue to stick with it in the future. As of today, I have 930 subscribers. Obviously, if you look at the average number of views my videos get, a lot of those are just abandoned accounts that people don't use anymore, which is unfortunate, but still, that means that 930 people have looked at my content and thought, this guy's doing some stuff that I like, I'm gonna give him a shot and stick with it. There's probably more people who've done that and unsubscribed. I probably have had over 1,000 subscribers altogether in my time on YouTube, just some of them gave up on me because I wasn't making the content they wanted me to make. If you don't tell me the kind of stuff you do and don't like, there's not much I can do about it. And that's kind of always been one of the things that's held me back over the course of my YouTube career, not getting feedback. Now, some of the more recent videos, like the Sonic Timeline and the Street Fighter one, people have said they liked. And that's really helpful. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy getting a comment from someone saying they like it rather than saying, kill yourself, jump off a bridge, or you're ripping off game theory. But what I really need is suggestions. How can I make these better? What elements of what I do you not like? What kind of content do you want to see more in the future? Just anything to help me make better content, because those of you who stuck with me, those of you who still watch my content, those of you who may have been around since nearly the beginning, or even those who've just recently joined up, I do appreciate every single one of you taking the time, taking a chance on my content, and deciding to give me more chances in the future through subscribing. It's been a hell of a 10 years with a lot of different changes in my direction for content, vast improvements in the quality of my content if I do say so myself, and hopefully it's only going to continue getting better from here on in. Thank you for watching, and please, whether you like my content or not, please tell me how I can get better, because that's my ultimate goal really, to get better and better and better to make the best possible content I can for you guys. Here's to another 10 years. Take care.